Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Foundry by Forge College. Today's explainer is all about something absolutely foundational: reading account state with agent frameworks. Think of us as translators today. We're going to take those raw, totally unreadable Solana blockchain bytes and turn them into actual, high-quality intelligence that our AI agents can use. Because let's be real, if we want these autonomous systems to understand what's actually happening on-chain, this is exactly where we got to start. So let's get into it.
Now, if you caught our previous explainer on Solana on-chain data models, you'll probably remember how data is actually stored. We know that account state on Solana is basically just a byte array, right? And we know that program-derived addresses own the accounts our agents really care about. But, just knowing where the warehouse is, that's not quite enough. Today, we need to build the literal logistics blueprint. We are going to construct the machinery to fetch those bytes efficiently, and then unpack them so our AI can, actually read them.
Okay, let's dive right into this. To build our data assembly line, we've got a 4-stage schematic today. 1. Ordering raw materials. 2. Network safety nets. 3. The unboxing line. And finally, 4. Quality control.
All right, stage 1, ordering raw materials, or in our case, fetching on-chain data.
So if we want our AI to make decisions, we have to fetch the on-chain state via an RPC endpoint. It's basically like handing a purchase order to our primary supplier. But here's the core problem. When that delivery finally shows up, the RPC node just hands us a string of raw, unintelligible hex bytes. I mean, an AI agent cannot read that. It is absolute gibberish. What it desperately needs is a clean, perfectly parsed JSON object. We have to map those raw materials into specific, understandable fields, things like version, timestamp, and name.
But hold on, before we unpack the box, we got to make sure we ordered the correct version of it, right? When we make our RPC calls using Solana's Web3.js library, we have to specify a commitment level. This essentially tells the network how final we need that data to be. Now, processed is fast, sure, but it's risky. Confirmed is definitely better, but it could theoretically still be rolled back. So for AI agents that are making real autonomous decisions, finalized is for sure our safest bet. It guarantees the AI is reading authoritative, permanent state. Believe me, we really do not want an AI executing some massive trade based on a reality that just gets erased 5 seconds later. Talk about an existential crisis for your bot.
Moving right along to stage 2, network safety nets, which is all about handling RPC errors.
Here is the harsh reality of network logistics. We're relying on the internet, and that means our delivery trucks are absolutely going to drop some packages. Getting 502 or 504 errors isn't a matter of if, it's entirely a matter of when. And if your AI crashes every single time a request drops, well, it's not exactly an autonomous agent, is it? It's just a fragile script. So we need to install a safety net, and it's called exponential backoff with jitter. Sounds super technical, I know, but it's essentially just a polite way of repeatedly knocking on a door. If the RPC node doesn't answer, we wait, we knock again, we wait a little bit longer, and we add a tiny bit of random timing. That's the jitter. We do this so 1,000 parallel agents don't all slam the server door at the exact same millisecond and completely take it down.
Looking at the schematic for this, we can actually build a really simple wrapper called with retry. First up, we set a maximum number of retries, let's say 4. If a call fails, we calculate our delay by taking an initial pause, multiplying it exponentially, and then we just toss in that random fraction of a second of jitter. Now, if the node is still down after those max retries, only then do we abort and alert the system. It's a remarkably simple fix, really, but it completely separates a resilient AI from a broken one.
All right, stage 3, the unboxing line. Let's talk about deserializing bytes.
Okay, so we've received our raw materials, and now we actually have to open the boxes. In computer science terms, this is deserialization. Now, sure, we could use a schema library like borsh, but looking at manual byte parsing really reveals the hidden mechanics of how this all works. But before we slice into literally anything, I want you to keep this number in your head, 32. 32 bytes is the strict, totally unchangeable length of a standard Solana public key. It is a fundamental law of blockchain physics, and our unboxing line absolutely must respect it, otherwise the whole shebang gets thrown out of alignment.
Let's move over to our data schema and see how this builds out. Imagine our raw data is sitting on a conveyor belt. We track an offset that starts right at 0. Step 1, we read the first 8 bits to get our version number, which moves our offset forward by 1 byte. Step 2, we extract the next 64 bits for our timestamp, pushing that offset 8 bytes further down the line. Then, step 3, we slice exactly those 32 bytes we were just talking about to grab our public key.
And finally, step 4, we read a 16-bit integer that explicitly tells us exactly how long the upcoming text string is, so we know exactly how many bytes to decode for our UTF-8 formatted name. It's just incredibly precise.
But hey, you need to be aware of a massive hidden trap on this factory floor. See, standard internet protocols usually read numbers from left to right. That's called network Indian. But Solana programs overwhelmingly use little endian. That means we actually need to read the number bytes backward. If you forget this, and people do, a timestamp from today will suddenly decode to a date literally millions of years in the future, and your AI is going to start acting like some confused time traveler. Definitely not what we want.
And that brings us to stage 4, quality control, validating our parsed data.
So we've fetched the data, we survived the network errors, and we unpack the bytes. Which brings us to validation. This is the ultimate trust boundary for our entire system. I want you to really think about this for a second. What happens if we feed a poorly parsed schema to an AI agent? It's a complete disaster. The AI won't know the offset was wrong. It's just going to confidently make autonomous decisions based on absolute hallucinations. Garbage in literally means catastrophic AI garbage out.
To prevent that nightmare, we have to write strict, concrete assertions that our script absolutely must pass before letting the data proceed. First up, we ensure the raw buffer actually meets the minimum byte size of our expected header. Second, we assert that the dynamic name length we read perfectly matches the remaining parsed length. Third, we verify that our pub key actually decodes to exactly 32 bytes. Now, if any of these checks fail, we don't guess. We fail loudly. We throw an explicit error so the entire system knows the schema assumptions are completely broken.
All right, let's look at our final takeaways for building robust reads.
To wrap up this whole blueprint, always default to a finalized commitment level. Never fully trust the network. Make sure you wrap your RPC calls with retries and jitter. Keep a close eye out for that little endian trap. And, as a quick pro tip, add some short-term caching so you aren't just slamming the RPC node every single time parallel agents need to read the exact same account. Exploring powerful architectural patterns like that is exactly the kind of deep dive you can get into in Forge College's dedicated development programs.
So there you have it. Your logistics machinery is fully operational. You can now reliably transform raw blockchain bytes into actionable signals. Next up in our series, we'll be looking at processing and normalizing this data for ML models. I highly encourage you to visit forge.college to continue your learning journey, but I'll leave you with this final thought. If your AI agent can now accurately and reliably read the blockchain's mind, what kind of autonomous empire is it going to build? Think about that. Keep experimenting, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.